Chilling on this Sunday. We here, baby. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Y'all good? How we
Oh,
feeling today? Tim, how you feeling?
hey man, I'm great, man. I'm great to be in the house, being back again. Um, Shouts out to the lovely lady that's coming by, dropping some knowledge and
A
inspiration
special
to us.
guest in the
Yeah, yeah.
building. Why don't you introduce yourself? This is my niece. We got family in the building. Shout out to my niece. What's going on, peoples?
Hey y'all. I'm Alexis. I'm just excited to be here, blessed to be here, thankful that my uncle has me on his podcast and giving me the opportunity to just get to know y'all, to get to know me a little bit more and to share some of my experiences.
Okay, we in the building. How you doing? How you doing, Kendra?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good on this beautiful Sunday. Love to see my good black folks.
We chilling. We
Good
chilling.
black.
Okay,
Shouts out
chilling.
to the black on
All
black.
right, all right. So look, listen, man. This is a special Sunday. This is just not a regular episode. We have a special guest. We're gonna get into who Alexis Parker is. But I like to start it off with some icebreakers so we can get the conversation muscles flowing. I had to do it, being that you were an athlete. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I had to go towards sports. How you feeling about the? First of all, let me go ahead. How you feeling about the loss, South Carolina? How you feeling?
Uh, I got mixed feelings. Obviously, I'm a Dawn Staley fan. I'm never gonna bet against her. But I also respect what Gino does. I love Paige as a player. I love their freshman Sarah Strong. So I knew it was gonna be tough, but I didn't imagine a 20 plus victory by UConn. So
I
I
didn't see
kind of
that.
got some mixed feelings about that. But
What do you think went wrong with South Carolina?
I honestly think I was surprised that Dawn didn't make as many adjustments as she usually does. She was a little bit more reserved than she normally is. Some of the guard rotation that she did, for example, Malaysia Fawali, I think if she would have had a little bit more, I'm not saying that she probably would have made like the greatest difference. A 20-point deficit is multiple different facets of the game, but I do believe that something was off. Something was off. Something may have happened prior to the game. You could just tell that they were not the same South Carolina that they were Saturday night,
Uh,
Friday
I,
night.
I got some questions. Pull your mic up just a little bit. Closer. Pull it. There you go. Uh, being that you like ex ex college player, was you D1?
Yes.
Okay, ex D1 player. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
You know more about the game than I do, as far as like, especially on the women's side. But like, how do you feel about the state of it? Like, it seems to me as if like women's, especially women's college basketball is the next big thing next to NBA males basketball.
Right.
Like, how you feel about the direction of women's basketball in general? Do you feel like, what do you see 5 years from now for the WNBA? Being that we got all these stars, Juju, all these people coming in with some controversies, some like with big stories. But how do you feel about the state of the game? Do you feel like WNBA is ever going to get as big as male NBA?
I mean, that's a wide question. I think at the high school level, I'll just start from the level that I'm at. The high school level is constantly growing. The kids, the dynamic of the athlete is different. And then when you factor in money, so the NIL deals that's happening, it definitely makes recruiting harder. Um, that's the challenges that we've ran into, and especially like high school coaches, we're running into having to promote our kids a lot more than what they used to have to do it, just because of the market, just because of the NIL deals.
Yeah.
The JUCO new rule where kids can go to JUCO and stay there for 2 years and then have 4 years of eligibility wherever university they go to. So it's just making it a lot more challenging for kids to get the opportunities that they typically would have had, back a few years back. I do think the game is growing again because the athletes are growing. I think
Instagram, social media.
the market is different. Social media is a tool that kids can use to do anything. They can market themselves. They can solicit their skills better. Coaches can promote kids in a different facet. So I do think it's growing at a pace that I'm surprised with. Will it ever be as big as the NBA, that's a huge question. I think the market for the NBA is just what it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, very competitive, but I'm not sure if it'll ever be to that magnitude.
Okay, I promise you, this is not a sports episode. I'm just getting the
Yeah.
I'm just getting this going. But I do have a question about NIL deals. Like even like this not even just about women. You see it in all college sports. Like,
Right.
do you think? I mean, yeah, it's good that players are getting paid. And truth be told, just like Deion say, like it's only a select few that's really getting paid.
Right.
So it's not like every college student getting paid. But
Right.
how do you see the NIL affecting college sports and even high school sports? Because at one point in time, you know, you could hope to be good in high school and then you get picked up by a top college. But now
Right.
they're not even looking at high school. They just dipping in the NIL pool
Right.
and they pulling what they need from there. So it's really harder for high school students to get placed.
It's tough, and not even just the NIL. You got to factor in the transfer portal, right? So now with the transfer portal, where kids can hop in the transfer portal whenever something doesn't go right at the current university they're at, colleges really can handpick their teams. So you working with a money thing, and then you're also working with I can go and I can pick a Division I kid that has the experience, that has the 2 years of experience, rather than going to get a high school kid that I got to develop and teach them all of the facets of being a college athlete. So yeah, it is difficult for a high school athlete. I mean, unless you dropping 30 points a game, or you're just that athlete in the right market. And I mean, it's also location, like where you are on a map. Like if you are in a really good geographic area where basketball is dominant, with this part of Georgia, the coastal southern Georgia area, you can just even look at our standpoint in comparison to the Atlanta area kids that get so much more marketing and soliciting when it comes to athletics across the board. So it's a lot of different facets.
I asked you that. I got you, Tim. I asked you that question because Alexis is a high school head coach.
Right.
South Effingham Mustangs.
South Effingham.
South Effingham Mustangs. I asked you that.
South.
I asked you that as a high school head coach.
Right.
Like, what does it look like? How are you preparing your girls for this atmosphere? Because it's more than skills now. Like you said, it's marketing.
It's
like,
way
so,
more.
like, how are coaches preparing their kids for the next level now, being the NIL and all this? Like, what does it look like to prepare a player for the next level? Those who those who are going to the next level, how you are preparing them?
Well, my attack is honestly like starting at the core of a person. So my thing for the kids is always being a good person, being a good teammate, and doing all the small details of the game. So when you are in front of X amount of coaches, or you are in front of a specific audience, like how are you making yourself a higher market? So that could be, I mean, a lot of people focusing on the scoring of the game of basketball, but I teach my kids like being a good person, having the good body language, being coachable, doing the hustle plays, just doing all the things that will make you the complete player, but also the complete person. And then just putting them in different exposure opportunities. So taking them to different parts, like I said, the geographic, taking them to different states, taking them to different counties to expose them to the different talents, to what it takes, and putting them in the right places at the right time.
Okay, Tim, you had something you want to say?
Yeah, I'm listening to you. And before we started rolling, we was talking about God and faith,
Right.
and your newfound deeper walk in God and growing in Him. How has that growth in God elevated you to be able to handle the mass capacity of kids and see what they're really going through, and being able to speak to it, cover them, and kind of give them a Christ-like influence?
Right. Well, that's a great question, actually. Being in public school, we all know that there's just different angles that you have to attack the spiritual side, just because you're technically not supposed to promote your religious or spiritual base or influence the kids in that way. But I attack it in his fruit, right? So love, loving the kids, teaching the kids what love is, and the more I grow spiritually, the more I learned about what actual love is, not the worldly love, but the love of being sacrificial, like sacrificing for your kids, creating a space that your kids feel safe and heard, creating opportunities for your kids to grow, expressing their emotions, but also understanding how to navigate those emotions. Because I do believe that the sport of basketball, it can arouse a lot of emotions, but how, we always talk about how do you respond in adversity? Well, a part of that is knowing how to navigate your emotions, knowing how to navigate the lows and the highs. So my approach is getting them to understand, especially with girls, like getting them to understand, like, it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to have these emotions, but how do you take those emotions and apply it in a way that's not negating what you're trying to do, whether that's in life, the sport, relationships, and teaching them how to navigate those spaces pretty much.
I like shout out to Tim who trying to take my job. Hey, you feel me? 'Cause every time we get together with a guest, he always do that. So shout out to Tim. You feel
That was
me?
a good question. That was great.
He,
That was a
hey,
great
he
question.
low key. I get it. I get it. It's a competitive field, but no.
Yeah.
But, I like that you said that because he asked about your faith,
Right.
and it's what I talk about is okay. We have all different kind of atmospheres, but the best way to show Christ to the world is through your life,
Right.
And it shows a different aspect because okay, we all walk in different atmospheres. Okay, of course you're a basketball coach, so you can't be quoting Bible scriptures every day. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
According to that's just how it is.
Right.
But you don't have to. You don't have to do that.
You can live it.
To give Christ because they see you. They
Right.
see your character.
Right.
They see how you love. Like that is the greatest testament. That is how you move in places because eventually it's gonna be a door gonna be open for you to share your faith. But
Correct.
you have to move with wisdom. Like
Correct.
you can't come in the door and be and in every situation unless you at a place where that in
Right.
church or something like that. You can't come in there and beat people down, shouting in
John
tongues.
3:16. Right.
Shouting in tongues. You gotta
Right.
know how to navigate. So
Right.
that just speaks to your relationship. Like 'cause it's a real thing. Like you don't have to prove your relationship by being super spiritual. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying?
Yep.
And it's like that's a difficult place to be to because you coaching people who all of them probably don't share your faith.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which I'm pretty sure that's the case. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And it's like how do you navigate those places?
Right.
I speak about it all the time. Like Christ don't want us just in the church. You know what I'm
No.
saying? Like we have no effect. But now he got one of his peoples who is over the influence of these girls. You know what I'm saying? Who I know I've seen they love. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
know they love their coach. You know what I'm saying? I seen them show up for it. You know what I'm saying? So that speaks volumes. That's fire.
And that's my ministry. Like, that's what I use it as. Like, my coaching, my teaching, like, I believe that that's where God has placed me and called me to. Like, that's my ministry. That's who I need to, like, I'm technically responsible for. Like, how I show up is how they see life, like, in some facets. Like, some stuff that I'm showing my kids, some of them may not see it at their home, in certain aspects of their life. So I teach it. I mean, I approach it as a way to, like you said, live by what Christ has called us to do, like living by love, like living by exuding patience and the self-control. Like, even when I'm upset, like, how do I handle adverse situations on the sideline? How do I handle adverse situations? I mean, they watch me in some of the toughest challenges in my life, and to see how I control, not necessarily control, because we lean on God, not our own understanding, but to see how I navigated through those tough situations. I mean, that alone
That's
shows
beautiful.
the kids something.
I'm about to go into a little deep. About to go into some questions about you.
Okay.
But I like that. I love that. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because this is my niece, people. Like I literally saw her. She was this big, and just to hear her speak like that is fire. So shout out to you. That we're gonna transition because like I said, I don't want to make it a sports thing.
Okay.
But being that's a big part of your life.
Right.
We're gonna lean on that. But
Right.
like okay, I know this is a big thing with athletes, and especially like ex NFL players and whatever. It's like after they leave the game, it's like finding their identity again.
Whew.
And it's like finding out because especially those who play one sport all the way up
All they
to
life.
all the way up to all their life, and then now
Right.
they got to retire. And like, who are you outside of this game? And
Right.
like I'm an athlete. I'm an ex-athlete, and I'm not. I didn't go as far as D1, but I'm always an athlete. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still an athlete.
Right.
So it's like, who are you? Who are you outside of the titles? Like, who are you outside of coach? Who are you outside of basketball? Like who is Alexis
Who is-
Parker?
Right.
Is what I'm asking.
Right.
Is what I'm asking.
I would say I am a person who loves nature. I love taking pictures of the clouds and the beautiful sunsets and the beautiful sunrises. I love food. I love cooking. I love comedy. Love jazz music. I am a huge R&B and gospel music listener. I'm a shoe collector, so I have hundreds of shoes. Um, I really embrace like the identity of being outside of the coaching and the teacher Alexis because a lot of people don't see that side of me often. Like if they ask, do you know Alexis? I'm like the one that hoop or the one that coach or the one that's a teacher. Like they don't know the bubbly side or the side that doesn't take life serious all the time. Like I like to have a good time. I like to just sit by the water and just
You like to be
skip rocks across the water.
You like to be
feed
human.
the ducks, right? So I would say that side of the Alexis, I would love for people to experience a lot more.
What would you say, being that people see you in different roles in life, and sometimes they don't necessarily know that there's other views of you? Like your students only see you as teacher.
Right,
Your players only see you as coach and may see you like a surrogate mom or a big sister
Right.
of those things. How do you manage from a day-to-day standpoint what you need to give to the people, but also how do you restore yourself? How do you generate that time to give you what you need?
honestly, I think what makes me, and not to toot my own horn because I'm extremely humble, but I do think what sets me apart from most teachers and coaches is how personable I am with my kids. So, although I am teacher coach, to them, they also see the vulnerable sides of me. They also see the goofy, silly sides where we make TikToks, we make the funny videos, we try new restaurants on our away games. They see the sides that the other side of the world don't see. And I think I'm intentional about that because they have to see that there's no perfection in me, right? So just because I am professional and I do have this side of me, they need to see that I am still human. Like I'm not afraid to cry in front of them. I'm not afraid to admit when I've had a bad day. I think that is what makes me connect with my kids a lot more. That's not saying that there's not a boundary that they don't know, like I'm the coach and I'm the teacher, but there's also that door that makes them trust the fact that this coach and this teacher can share this experience with us, like we can share these experiences with her, right? So I think that's I don't hide who I am with them at all. Is some things tailored? Yes, because again, there's still the boundaries. There's still a fine line between the child and the adult, but there is still vulnerability in there for them to know that I'm human.
I'm gonna ask you this. Like I said, cause I didn't even know that you was this involved in your faith. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna ask you this because we was talking before the pod, and,
Right.
and I was asking you, like, what is your aspirations? Do you want to coach college? And your response was saying, I'm paraphrasing, but you was saying in a way that you're kind of in a place where contentment is like you wanna be where God calls you to be,
Right.
and that's amazing to me because from the outside looking in, you are real focused. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You got a lot going on. You coaching. You still playing. You are real. From the outside looking in, you seem to be real focused, real on target, real determined.
Right.
And I believe you are. But what I'm saying is just that attitude of I want to be what God called you to be. Now, like as a as an ex athlete, I know we're driven, we're goal oriented. Okay, okay. How did you get to the place where? Because at one point in time, you wanted to coach college, and I'm
Right.
not saying that's out the picture,
Right.
but now you're more of like, I want to be what God want me to be,
Right.
and it's like that didn't come overnight because even me on this podcast, like I wanted to only do music, so me being here was it was a struggle for a long
Right.
time. Like,
Right.
okay, God, I want to do this, and God saying, I
Yeah.
want you to do this, and it's like it took a long time for me to like really be like, I want to be what God, I want to be where you at, and for me,
Right.
it really struggle, brokenness. When I got to a place of deep depression, and all I had was God, and it was like at that moment I realized that that's the only thing I need. Like He's the only thing I need. That's the greatest gift I can have. And
Right.
if I'm offered anything great without Him, I don't want it because
Right.
for me it's the greatest thing. But I'm asking you, how did you get there? Because I know D1 ex D1 player, coming straight out, getting a career as a teacher, starting head coach in basketball. Like I know that there was a plan. I know there
Yeah.
was a roadmap. I know that you were heading somewhere and you knew exactly where you was going. So
Right.
where in life did it become I want to be what God wants me to be?
Honestly, this it's I wouldn't say it's recent, but I would say within the last year, where I finally was just like, and I struggle with it even still today, just releasing control. So we had a brief conversation prior to the podcast starting just about um, women and men, the differences of women and men, and how we are emotionally, and just how sometimes like you want to be like women want to be in control of the situations. And I think for me, where I became okay with like whatever God had planned for me and what He had in store was hardship. Honestly, it's almost like you when you're knocking at a door, like you banging at a door because it's what you want. You want to go through that specific door, and eventually it'll open. Eventually He'll open that door for you. Like not because it's in His will, but because that's where you keep knocking. So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna give you what you asking for. I'm gonna give you what you want. And I think there's certain situations in my life where He gave me exactly what I asked for, what I wanted, but it wasn't according to His will. And it's almost like you have to start over every time. It's like I'm telling you this is not where I want you to go, but this where you want to go. So I'm gonna show you what it looked like. I'm gonna show you exactly. And that was relationships for me. That was jobs for me. That was friendships for me. I mean, all the way down to like just even in my program, that was certain like offenses for me, like anything that I just put my mind to, and this is what I want. This is how I'm gonna like control the situation to get this. He snatched from me. So I would even say all the way leading up to grandma passing, like controlling narratives, trying to control everything in my life, and anything that I found comfort in that wasn't Him, He snatched from me. So and not in a way of like I'm just trying to be a way to you, Alexis. Like I need you to lean solely on me in this season and nobody else.
I know you got something, Tim. I just want to follow up that thing. That's powerful. And for those who don't know, her grandmother is my mother.
Yep.
So I know you don't heard the story. We're not going into that. But no, that's powerful because when you say women, it's true because you're speaking from a woman perspective.
Right.
That's not just a woman's
gender
problem.
thing, yeah.
It's not just. I think anybody, any human, but I'm talking to those who believe
Right.
in Jesus. I think control is one of the biggest things that we all
Struggle with.
battle with, and it's like and releasing control. It doesn't take away hard work. It doesn't take away responsibility, planning, being diligent. Releasing control is basically it is what it is type deal. It doesn't mean you're lazy, but I struggle with it. We all struggle with it, and it's
It's a
like
flesh thing.
we have to get to we get to the point where because that's what trust is. It's like the center of all what we do. All the churches, all the pastors, all the TikTok videos,
Right.
all the center of everything we do in our faith is a relationship,
Right.
and a real, unique, authentic relationship. And to anybody who says they believe in Christ, then if that relationship is not at the heart and center of your life, then God still got some work to do. And we all need work. But what I'm saying is, especially me, you know what I'm saying? I know you driven. I'm super driven. You know what I'm saying? Like when I want something,
I want it.
I go after it. I go get it. But it's like, and I believe that God puts it in our heart because He wants it. He He wants that to happen. Like, okay, if God put this podcast in my heart. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And this podcast is a good thing as long as I keep
Him centered.
the priorities straight. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because this thing could become my God.
Idol.
Become
Yep.
it could become it could become my idol. So it's like if that relationship is not the most important thing, because you said God took away, that God took away things, and even sometimes He allowed you to taste what you thought you want, what you thought you wanted, and that's a part of the process. I say all that to say that's powerful, and I say all that to say that the relationship that God is that God desires is a true one. Like He wants to be loved for who He is, not what He can give you.
What He can give you.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's even in human relationships. Like if I'm only with Tim because he got that bag, you feel me? And I know Tim gonna pay for all the dinners,
Right.
all the trips. Do I really love Tim?
Right.
Yo, I love
Correct.
I love what he can do. It's the same in our relationship with God. It's like if like He wants to get like I'm a father. Like I want to spoil my kids right, and I can't all the time because sometimes I got to teach them lessons. But in my heart, I want to give them everything they want.
Right.
But sometimes I can't. Sometimes I can't. But it's like it doesn't change the fact that I love them, and
Right.
I think that's powerful.
Man, I was listening to both of y'all, and it kind of came together because you was talking about control and having
Mic up, closer
you was
up.
talking about control and having God take those control away. How do you see when you see your students or your players not necessarily have trouble with control,
Right.
but they have trouble with acquiring discipline?
Right.
Because in Christ we have to be disciplined as well. We have
Oh,
to
yeah.
condition ourselves. For
Yep.
some people, it may be, God, I'm gonna let you have control because I
Right.
have too much. For others, it's like, I know I got these things, but I
Right.
really need some fire lit up under my butt to really apply what you told me to do so I can make this purpose advance.
Right.
How do you see from both spectrums as far as when you come across people who, like yourself, have too much control versus the one that says, okay, she doesn't have a problem with control,
Right.
but she needs discipline.
Right. Whew. Another great question.
See, I'm about tired of Tim,
That's
bro.
another
Hey,
one.
Hey, Tim, hey, man.
Eating off the yard.
Hey,
Nah,
man,
that's
look.
a great question.
No, 'cause I see
They're
what you
all
doing.
great
I
questions.
see what you're doing, bro.
No, seriously. That's a good question. So,
You laid it up,
Go
man.
ahead,
no,
go ahead.
for real. Um, discipline. Okay, so correlating discipline with kids sometimes are. I mean, like you said, we all struggle with discipline. But I also think kids have, like, I call it eye candy. So, like, again, if it's not something that they truly like want, and I think that's for anybody, like if it's not something that they genuinely desire, like what I've learned is that they're not going to do it. So like with basketball, if basketball truly isn't something that they want to do, even just like a little snippet of it, because you got all kind of aspects of why kids play sports. It could be I'm being forced because my parents want me to play basketball. It could be my best friend plays a sport, so I just want to be there for the camaraderie of it. Or you got the athletes that genuinely just want to be there. It I think discipline varies. Like those kids, like you say, you don't have to push as hard because they want it. The kids that don't, I'm still trying to figure out how to create a level of discipline and accountability in them because you try to find what gets them going. Like what do they desire? And that's the same thing in a classroom. Like what is their itch? Like what makes them, and for some kids it's simple, candy. Like I want a piece of chocolate, a chocolate bar. I'll do this work if they know they have something, an incentive attached to it. Some kids genuinely like you got to give them you got to give them a little edge. Like, all right, I'm gonna call your parents. I'm gonna call, they need some level of fear. I mean, of some consequence. But I'm still honestly trying to figure out a consistent way as to how to discipline the kids because they're all different. And with social media being so prominent now, it's hard. It's hard to create a consistent level of discipline over the course of like your entire team. Like I'm still, that's a day-to-day figuring out, like literally building a relationship with the kids and day by day just trying to figure out what makes them go, like what makes them excited, what makes them happy, what makes them sad, like building that relationship and then going from there.
I gotta, that's fire. You be good at podcasting. You know what I'm saying? You flow good on the mic. Hey, Keandra, since you back, yeah, Tim, hey.
He asking some fire questions.
Tim making a play. Tim making a play.
Some fire.
You know what?
He really
I'm gonna
is,
call
though.
him out live on the podcast. 'Cause look, last time we had a guest, he did that. Hey, it's all right though. But no, I do.
Pass me the rock. I'ma dunk it.
I do got a question.
Yeah.
Okay, shout out to Duncan. I'm Jess in the situation.
What?
I'm Jess. All right, but
Well, everybody pause when that.
No, for real, because please.
I'm going live right after the show. You know what I'm saying? I'm exposing everything Tim got going on. Hey, but nah, I'm gonna go.
You found me.
This been a.
What?
You found me in the back.
Now we gaslighting. All right,
Now we gaslighting.
I got actually a question that you sent me.
Okay.
Because the heart of this right here, a big part of this podcast is being your authentic self, and that's why going back to even your relationship with God, a true intimate relationship with God produces the authentic version of whoever you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Absolutely.
because we live in a society where it's almost cookie cutter in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And it's like not even throwing shots, but it's like, okay, if I know Tim, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know everything about Tim, but okay, I know Tim to the point where if someone comes up to me and tells me something about Tim that I know Tim don't do,
Right.
like I'm not gonna believe him because I know Tim.
Yeah. Right.
It's the same
For
way. I think that's important because I'm going to the question, but I'm kind of prepping you for it because we feel like, okay, it can only be done one way, or you have to look like this, or you have to do it this way. And even when you say you're a believer out loud, people expect certain things. They expect you to move a certain way, and there's a standard. I'm not saying it's not a standard.
There is a standard. Yep.
There's a standard, but you are uniquely who you are. And
Right.
it's like I get pictures in my head, like I can imagine like we getting to heaven, we getting in front of God and God saying, yeah, come in, but you never became you because you were too busy trying to live up to the expectations of everybody else. And it's like, and now I'm going into the question. How do you deal with the battle between who you are and who people expect you to be? Because at the question that's the heart of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Even with this podcast, it's like we move and have conversations in a way where some people in faith may not even agree with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But this is what God has called us to do, and it's like how do you get to a place of confidence in who God called you to be? You know what I'm saying? Because you're never gonna please everyone.
Nah.
And if you don't be exactly who God called you to be, you will be miserable. That will lead to depression. I am a living witness of that. So how do you deal with that battle between who you are and who everybody wants you to be? The expectations of others. How you deal with that battle?
Whew. Yeah, that's a heavy one. I'll start by saying the expectations. So obviously, like as an athlete, even just going back to being a high school athlete, you have the expectations of your parents, right? So they want you to be this athlete, they want you to be this student, and they have the different goals. They place goals on you that they want you to achieve. Moving to college, same expectations. You're an athlete in college. They expect you to do X, Y, Z. So I think for me, like where I've gotten to the point where I really don't care about people's expectations on me. I don't care about what people think about me. I don't care about what you say about me. Because I've lived so much for others. Like I've done so much for others. Like it was a snippet part of my life, probably within the last couple months, that I was just almost done with basketball, like coaching, because basketball has been attached to my identity for so long that I got so tired of having to live in that light of basketball, right? And even going back to our other question, like, who are you without your titles? And I got tired of people just knowing, like, Alexis for basketball. But there's a controversy with that being something that I actually love. Like, I love the game of basketball. I love being able to pour back into other people. I love being able to still play while I have the ability to do it. But I truly just don't care about the validation of other people anymore because of my walk with Christ. Like, you can't tell me that I'm not enough or that I can't do something anymore. Like, whereas a few months ago, before I grew to know Christ for who he is, you could say, like, Lex, you're not enough. Like, you're not good enough to do this. And I would fold. Like, I would believe you because my validation came from my relationships and my wins and losses in basketball, or how many degrees I had, which is why you always saw me striding for more, because I felt like the time when I stopped, like, people wouldn't find value in who I was as a person. I don't care about that no more, which is why I'm content with wherever God needs me to be, I'm gonna be. Like, if I'm gonna be in high school all my life, I'm gonna retire as a teacher, cool. I'm gonna be the biggest impact, and I'm gonna use this as my ministry, and I'm gonna try to grasp as many lives that I can in the right direction to know Christ and to know him through me. And if that's all he has me called to do, I'm okay with that now. Before, I wasn't.
I would. That's powerful. I know you coming. I see you snickering. I see you, but no. That's powerful. I only say that because we all got to get to that place. But like I was writing in my notes yesterday, and it was like, okay, and where you at is because you have to be there first.
You have to.
First, God has to put God has to put you in a place where you like, I give it all away. Like, I only want you.
Right.
Okay, now once you establish I only want you.
Right.
Now when God places whatever he places in your heart, let's just say, just hypothetical. Let's just say God say, Lexus, I want you to be college, I want you to coach college.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's just say God said that. Now, being okay, being okay with where you at is perfect. Now, when God says, Lexus, I want you to be I want you to be great. I want you to be this big thing. Faith in that moment is not being passive.
No.
It's the same way when I love David. It's the same way with David running toward Goliath. Faith was not all the soldiers behind David believing God is my protector. Faith is in the action that David did moving toward it. It was in that moment because trust Because trust prompts action. You know what I'm saying? Like how do you handle, like how do you deal with that? Because it comes with being okay with who you are. Because first God gonna break you down, then He gonna show you who you are. Now you believe it,
Right.
and never apologize for it.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And whatever He showed you to build and do it
Correct.
unapologetically, because faith is not passive. It's not passive. It's calm. It's not worrisome. It doesn't have anxiety, which we all deal with. But trust, but trust and faith is not passive. I move toward whatever giant is in front of me
Correct.
because I trust God. I believe in who He is. So how do you how do you deal with like ambitions in a healthy way? Because we live in a society where a lot of people make people almost feel bad for having dreams
For having dreams,
having
right.
goals. Like you just looking out for self. But no, God, like look at LeBron James. God clearly created that man to play basketball.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
No, for real.
Like he clearly created him to play. He wasn't supposed to be a preacher.
No.
He clearly created him to be basketball. So
Correct.
like, how do you how do you go from okay, now I'm content now to understanding who you, to put it away. How do you own who you are? You know what I'm saying? How are you doing that now? How are you owning everything God is saying? The bigness of it, like how are you going about that now?
I honestly just, I pray every day to just be led by the Spirit, not by my flesh, not by my emotions, in all my decision making, in my relationship building. Honestly, it's crazy that you asked, because I got an opportunity. I got a couple opportunities to go coach at different high schools, but these high schools were in a different area, national teams that focus strictly on basketball. So, if we just comparing, and that's a whole different conversation, but if you compare counties, like my school isn't a basketball school. I make it is what it is because, you work with what you work with, but, and my kids are absolutely amazing, but it's just not a basketball county. Whereas other counties are focused on, that's the sport that they focus on. So I'm like, okay, is God calling me? I went to the interviews and I'm like, is God calling me to truly move in a way where basketball is the forefront, like where I could just strictly focus on basketball because that's what I love. I went to the interview, everything was cool, and then I got back and stuff just started happening, like, and not in a bad way, but just where I knew like that's not where He's calling me. So I would say the spirit of discernment is that is what's gonna keep me owning who I am and also which direction I go, because had I would have just acted off of impulse, like this is a better basketball school and this is what I want, and I took it, you talking about selling your house, moving to a different location. That could have been a crazy situation at 30 years old.
You said a key word though. You
Spirit of discernment.
I got you, Tim. You said a key word, discernment, because you're right. You know what I'm saying? And once again, that come out of you and God being locked in. At the same time, like you need discernment because. Okay, let's just say God did tell you to go there.
Right.
Obviously He didn't, but let's just say
He did.
Let's just say He did. Okay.
Right.
Storms come because of the word sometimes. Like even in the Bible, it's like whenever God sends a word to you,
right,
problems come with that.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to discern.
Got to be tested.
You have to be able to discern whether it's a God, and obviously you did that because it could have been ugly for you. But I don't want anybody watching this, like every time, like problems don't always indicate you're not supposed to. You're
not supposed to do it. Right.
Sometimes it gets harder because you are supposed to do this.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
correct.
I'm not here to sugarcoat this thing. Like life sometimes is a battlefield, and sometimes we have to run toward our Goliath. Tim, you had something? I seen you.
Nah, man, I was just taking. I was listening to you both, as I always tend to do. Let's go back for a minute, because you said something about you got to a point to where you no longer cared what people thought of you and your image, and even in that you had to kill that negative image of yourself.
Right.
So what was that encounter with God that made you turn and switch that mindset? To what was that encounter like? Was it a scenario? Was it family situation? What encountered with God that made you like, you know what, I'm no longer gonna do this to myself, let
Right.
alone let other people put labels on me
Right.
here at No Labels Podcast.
Half right.
I think just the constant, I think it was a buildup over time. So I don't think it was just one specific moment. I believe the constant everyday waking up feeling like I have to do this or this or this for this approval. And no matter like what I did, how I did it, how much I did, how much effort I gave, you still get the same scrutiny, criticism, regardless. Like regardless if you do it to perfection, if you make one mistake, you make two mistakes, like people are gonna still feel and think what they feel and think, regardless of who you are. So I think moments of just seeing um like how, I guess, as I continue to release control over situation, and I just see like it doesn't matter, like it doesn't matter like how good of a person you are. It like you can't control how people think and feel about you. So I honestly just feel like, I don't know, I got kind of got exhausted. You get burnt out with trying to meet everybody's expectations, and you leave no room for
And it's depressing.
yourself. Like you don't even, at one point I didn't even realize like I wasn't even seeing myself anymore. I was seeing myself through like my boss and my my kids, and I'm seeing it myself through everybody else's eyes, and I look myself in the mirror and I can't even identify like what is it that you like to do on your free time? Like what is it that makes you happy? Like, which is why it goes back to the singleness, like understanding who I am as a woman first and who I am as a person first before I can give myself to anybody, because I found my identities in relationships and people, you know?
You know, that's a whole. I ain't even.
That's a
I
whole
ain't even
different
open
thing,
that
but,
can. I ain't
you
gonna open
know?
that can. No, because I even.
It's real, though.
Even like me and Keandra, we've been together over a decade, and that what you're doing now is the correct way to do it. Now, God graced us. Like
Right.
me and Keandra, we had to do what you're doing together.
Together.
We had to. We had to go from children to now adults, and it's like it made us stronger, but we had to do what you doing now together, and that's not. It's better to do it first and then come together.
Yeah.
But you got something?
No, no.
But because we about to wrap it. This actually went really good. But oh no, go ahead.
I'm saying it's hard when you're trying to find yourself and also being with someone else at the same time, because they're going through the motions as well
Right.
too, and you are like, dang, are we supposed to be together?
Right.
But once we got to a point where we healed the areas that was broken in us, because I didn't realize that I had a lot of mommy pain. I felt like an orphan. I felt like, and it was just I was seeking so much validation from my mom, and then I would come home and take it out on Willie. Willie said, "You are not an orphan. Let that go, because you're taking it out on me." But I'm like, I felt abandoned, and then sometimes your hurt can sometimes bleed out on your spouse, and they didn't do anything wrong.
Nothing.
You got to go
Yep.
back to you and figure out what was hurting inside of you.
Right.
And I'm so grateful. I love your uncle so much, but I'm so grateful that I had somebody that was
Patient.
patient enough with me for me to mature and grow up.
Go through those seasons.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then vice versa. Willie had to grow up too in certain areas, and where we are now, I feel like we are very strong. We're one.
Right.
I can honestly say right now we are one.
Right.
If he hurt, I hurt. If I hurt, he hurt.
Right.
And it's just it builded us, but but boy, we had to break down a foundation that we thought we had that wasn't.
Right.
So when that got broken down, and then we had to rebuild it, we rebuild it brick by brick. Part of Willie, part of Keanu. Go ahead.
No, you good. You good. That was
That's
dope.
good. Yeah.
Shout out to the queen for the breakdown. I'm gonna end it. This gonna be the last thing.
I say you keep going now.
I know we can. No, I got no. I'm gonna let you flow. But everything you saying, like we all got our own experience, and you coming into loving you coming and being comfortable with who you are. Somewhere in your journey, I know, it had to be a place where you accepted your humanity. because especially dealing with God,
Yeah.
it's difficult. First, accept who you are. Like I say it all the time, I'm not giving excuses for no sin or no struggle, but understanding that this is a father child relationship, and it's like once you can really live in that truth, you know what I'm saying? Then you can come before God honestly, and that's where the beauty at when you and God are honest. Like, 'cause a relationship is not okay. The Bible equates our relationship with Christ like a marriage.
Right.
I know a little
Yep.
bit. I know a little bit about marriage.
The
A
bride.
marriage is not a good marriage without intimacy, without vulnerability. To be vulnerable, like Keandra, like nobody on this earth will ever know me outside of God like she do. You know what I'm saying? It's things that she knows and will carry to her grave about me that nobody on this earth would know. So we take the same example toward you and God, and it's like I'm not perfect at all, but but it's like a lot of us, because I've done it. That's why I speak on it. A lot of us go to God, and now we go into this role.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And there's never no healing done. There's never nothing done because we come before God like who He think we should be instead of coming before God who we are.
Right.
With the struggles, with the brokenness, with the depression, with the anxiety, with the addictions. You know what I'm saying? All the dirt that's in you. You know what I'm saying? As a human,
Right.
whatever it may be.
Right.
Like when you can stand before God in everything you are, and the flaws, and when you can stand before Him in truth and honesty, and like a father, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't turn you away. You know what I'm saying? He walks with you. Now don't get me wrong. He tell you when you're wrong. You know what I'm saying?
What?
It's
Yeah.
just, like it's
What?
gonna be like trust me, ain't no beating like a God beating.
What? Ain't no beating
ain't
like
no,
a God.
ain't no beating like a God beating.
Lord.
I'm not selling fantasies, you know what I'm saying? But
No.
I got sons in there now, and sometimes they do not like to see me coming. Even though I know they love me. If they know they on some board jobs, I know they don't like to see
And
me coming. Like, you know what I'm
what?
saying? If that room looking crazy, they do not like to see me coming. But it doesn't but right after I say what I gotta say, an hour later, my son gonna come in the room, Dad. Uh you gonna go get something to eat? You know what I'm saying?
But that's the same way I am with my kids. I mean, with the basketball girls, I love them to death. But when they know. They know when it's time to. They know when they see me coming. All right, Coach Parker not playing today. Like we got to get our stuff together because it's a certain level of just discipline. Like
Because that's what this podcast is.
Yeah.
The heart of what we do, me, Tim, Audrey, Keandra, is simply that. Because there's so many people
right.
like, in this church world, in this relate. I come across it. First, I lived it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I told everybody I was a phony. So you can't hold it against me. Like when I first got into it, when I first got saved, it was nothing like I was trying to be what I thought everyone should be. I was hiding my struggles. I was hiding who I was.
Complete
You know what I'm
opposite.
saying?
Yep.
I was using God I was using God like I was screaming Christ, but I was using Him to elevate me. You know what I'm saying? So I did it. You know what I'm saying? So I can talk about it, but we religion is killing a lot of people because we don't know Christ. We say it all the time. A lot of us don't know the God that they're
Don't
preaching
know him.
about.
Nope.
They know the pastor's God. You know what I'm saying? Or they know mom's God. You know what I'm saying? Or they know auntie God. Or whoever taught them God. Or they know their favorite TikTok preacher God. But they don't know God.
Don't know Christ.
For themselves. And the only way to know God, we talk about it all the time, is through experience. Like when you fall down, when nobody can relate to what's going on
And truly knowing His word.
inside of you, then you come in contact with
Yep.
that relationship, and it's like that makes you. But you said you had something. You said you had something.
Okay.
You did it.
No,
You did it.
God. You know what I'm saying? Or they know mom's God. You know what I'm saying? Or they know auntie God. Or whoever taught them God. Or they know their favorite TikTok preacher God. But they don't know God.
Don't know Christ.
For themselves. And the only way to know God, we talk about it all the time, is through experience. Like when you fall down, when nobody can relate to what's going on
And truly knowing His word.
inside of you, then you come in contact with
Yep.
that relationship, and it's like that makes you. But you said you had something. You said you had something.
Okay.
You did it.
No,
You did it. No, man, I just want to give a shout out to you, Alexis. Oh, I just want to give a shout out to you, Alexis, for your overcoming your struggles and still talking about it. I think
Thank you.
what happens is we see people that we admire or respect who have the faith walk with Christ, but we don't necessarily dive in to see what the journey is like. And
What it
for
took.
you to show yourself and still showing yourself that God is still impactful in your life and
Right.
that you're reaching people and you're changing the narrative.
Right.
And as my apostle would say, Apostle Law would say, disrupting the norm. Because these kids you may be the only connection to Christ that they will
Jesus.
ever see.
Yep.
And so that makes them so much more of an impact on you.
Right.
You staying in line, you having the desire to still reach out to God because you want it for yourself.
Right.
But for that 12 to 14 to 17-year-old to still trying to figure out her life,
Yep.
you're probably the only sense of closeness, togetherness that they'll ever see.
Right.
So thank you for continuing to be in that light, continue to press forward in Christ, continue to fail
Right.
with God, and still achieving those goals. So big shout out to you.
Shout out to that. Shout out. We gonna wind it up right here. We had a good hour. This was an amazing episode. I gotta get up 3:00 in the morning, so you know.
Let me say one more thing before you end.
Oh, go ahead.
One more
go ahead,
thing.
go ahead.
I just wanted to add, like, even though like I am approaching things a lot differently in life, like my uncle said, I struggle. Like, there is no secret to the struggle. Like, I struggle daily. Like, and as walking Christian, like people that believe we're followers of Christ, like we gonna battle the flesh until we leave this earth. And I mean, I had to I had to really grasp that concept because I thought once I was saved, like everything else just follows, like goes away. Like, no, it comes harder and it comes in all different forms. So whoever, is watching this podcast, just understand, like, when you do know Christ, like it's not easy. Like, this walk is not easy. It's not something that, that a lot of people can endure, but it is probably it is the best decision that I've ever chose to do and to follow Christ and to make that decision to do it. So
That's a
yeah.
powerful way. And everything. I concur. And it's worse when you're being phony. At the heart of me,
For real.
I grow. Like I'm more polished. I know how to handle myself in different rooms, different levels. But
Yeah.
at the heart of me, I will and forever be a ghetto nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm a ghetto nigga. You know what I'm saying?
What? No, for real though.
But I don't go. But I don't.
Couple bombs for that.
I know. You shout out that. And I'm that. I'm a ghetto nigga at the heart of me. You feel what I'm saying? I got ghetto tendencies. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like my mom and daddy, we had a great life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I never try to paint that picture to where we was, but now me being an adult,
Right.
looking back, like we was broke. My mom and daddy was broke. But
I look back too. Look.
but the way they made it feel, we never feel. And it's like the reason I said I'm not phony. Like I'm a ghetto nigga. But I'm not going into the church and speaking like that.
Nah, no.
I'm not going. I'm polished. I'm growing, but I am who I
you
am.
are, yeah.
It's like once you can do that, it's like
First step.
Pretending is a weight. Tim, you got any last remarks before we cut it down?
A double-minded man that is unstable in all his ways. But shouts out to once again, what we're trying to create here is authenticness.
Right.
For people to come in, take the simple things of God, put it in your everyday life so that you may live better, that
Absolutely.
you may grow better, and you'll find a place of here to where you can come in and just be yourself.
Yeah, I just got one last thing.
Yeah.
We done. Right. Go
And I'm
ahead.
gonna end it with this. We are No Labels Podcast, where faith meets culture.
Okay.
Oh yeah.